Hey guys, and welcome to one more episode of Builder Nation. Today we have the pleasure to speak with Anni Kern, Head of Communication, Strategy, and Teams at CYBATHLON, the championship that allows people with physical disabilities to compete against each other in everyday tasks using assistive technology. So welcome, Anni. Super happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And if you could please introduce yourself, talk a little bit about you. We want to hear your story and how do you first got into this project?
Yes, my name is Anni. I'm actually from Germany. I moved to Switzerland, I don't know, 16 or 17 years ago. And I started working for CYBATHLON in January 2016. I worked for a company manufacturing robotic rehabilitation systems. So that's how I came to CYBATHLON, because we are a university project of the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology. And they work together with this company. So I started at CYBATHLON, and it's a wonderful job. I love it. I still love it after 6 years. And yeah, that's me.
Wow. So you were already in the robotics world. Before you got into CYBATHLON. Yeah. Okay. So you already knew how this world worked before joining.
Yes, so I'm not an engineer. I have an economics background and a bit of an events and tourism background. And I worked in the marketing department of this rehabilitation robotics company. And so I already knew a little bit how people with disabilities or an accident or what they need and their stories, and how difficult is to research and develop low-cost robotics for people in everyday life, and what kind of challenges they have in everyday life.
And you mentioned that CYBATHLON started as a project in the university, right? So how did it started like that, and then it is what it is now? That's the main question.
It's still a university project. It's a non-profit project of the university, and it started. So a Professor Robert Riener, he's working or he's having the sensory motor systems lab at ETH Zurich, and he realized that labs or research and development departments around the world are developing a lot of fancy robotic devices like arm prostheses or exoskeletons or wheelchairs, but they don't really involve the people with disabilities, or they have a expensive fancy prosthesis, but the people with disability cannot use it. So he started to think about having a competition to bring the researchers and the people of disabilities together, that they can develop this device together. Then the competition are everyday tasks, so they have to solve different tasks and train for everyday tasks that the device is suitable. And the competition is attractive to the public, so that the society and the public can see what kind of challenges people with disability have in everyday life, and what kind of technology is there in the labs of universities or companies, that there are a lot of people that haven't seen an exoskeleton walk before, or a robotic wheelchair going up and down the stairs and things like that. So he started this competition, and we had the first competition in 2016, and this was such a success. We were all surprised as well. And it was one of the most emotional experiences of my life. It was great. So you can watch a lot of videos on our website. And after the first competition, we started to create not only a competition, but a platform for those three groups: people with disabilities, researchers and developers, and the society. And we had a second CYBATHLON in 2020. And we also initiated a school project. So this is only in Switzerland at the moment. And we are going out to schools to motivate students for the STEAM subjects, but also raise awareness for people, or the inclusion of people with disabilities. And we do a lot of other things.
I'm basically in everything. Well, Anni, I mean, that's great, because just like we were saying before, actually, guys, before we even started the call, we were talking a little bit. And I was like, Anni, oh my God, this is not only a robotics or a research topic, it's also a really human project. And that's what it calls up my attention, because a lot of people can connect with this project. And that's what it is really amazing, right? And I had this question. I was wondering, how many disciplines do you have? Because it's every 4 years, right? So every 4 years, every CYBATHLON that you have, do you implement another discipline, or how many teams do you have, or how many people?
So in 2016 and in 2020, we had 6 disciplines, and these were the same disciplines. So we have the brain-computer interface race, functional electrical stimulation bike race, arm prosthesis race, leg prosthesis race, wheelchair and exoskeleton race. And for every CYBATHLON, or we call it CYBATHLON period, it's a 4 years period, we create a new races and rules book. And this is especially for the research team. So every task and every movement in this races and rules book is developed that we push the development of the devices. So we evaluate, for example, what an arm prosthesis can at the moment with experts within the academia. And then we think about or we talk to people with disabilities, what an arm prosthesis has to do or needs to do in the futures. And this is how we develop our races and rules book. It's very interesting to read. And after 2020, we introduced new 2 disciplines. So we evaluated the disciplines of how we can make a competition out of it. It's not so how you can compare different teams. This is not very easy, but we came up with 2 new disciplines. We have the assistance robot race. So this is for people with severe impairments of the upper limbs. So maybe you don't have any arms anymore, you can't move them. And we have created a parkour that little robots, or a robot that is mounted to the wheelchair can help them in everyday life. And the other discipline, new discipline, is new for us as well, because it's the vision aid race. It's for blind people. We think that out there is a lot of technology in smartphones or classes that can be more improved for daily life. So we have this one. And then in 2016, we had 66 teams from all over the world. And in 2020, for the May event, we had 96 teams. So we were fully booked. But then we had to change plans because of the pandemic. We created a new event format. It's a decentralized event. So we asked all teams to set up the parkour at their home country or their home institution. And we all did put that together in 2 live streams. And then we had the competition like that.
I mean, you mentioned the leg prosthesis race.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of task do the pilots have to do in order to compete for this specific race?
Yeah, so for the leg prosthesis, it's very interesting because I say it's easy, but it's not really easy. But if you are used to walk on a leg prosthesis, then you have your movements and you know how to overcome certain obstacles. So for one task is, for example, that most of the leg prosthesis person are not going those alternate steps, you know.
Okay.
So they use they go up the stairs like this, so they have the one leg there. So this is not very healthy, as you can imagine, and so the pilots have to go up the stairs like if they had two normal legs. And this is very challenging because you have to rebuild the knee, and the knee has certain functions. Then you have to stabilize the person when the person is only on one leg. And then normally they have to carry things to make it more difficult, so that they don't focus on the steps, but focus on other things, that they don't think about how they move, that they do it more naturally.
Wow. Is it only one pilot per team?
Pardon?
Is it only one pilot per team?
Yes, it's one pilot per team, and it's so we have a new format, which is actually we do the first time in May, the CYBATHLON challenges. So we have one task from the new rule book, and we try that. So with this format, we try that teams start developing their device from the very beginning together with the pilot. So that they really train, that they test their device in our challenges, that they get feedback from the pilot, that they can improve. And this is very important. So normally teams work with the pilots, or they have several pilots for a long time, because they know best what they need, how they can overcome certain obstacles. They have to train, otherwise they're not going to win. And we try to really push this. It's called user-centered design. I mean, you need this for almost every product, to know what your end user wants or needs. Yeah.
Oh, this is really interesting. I mean, I had no idea all of the process that it has to go through each pilot. And now that we're talking about this, I was going to ask you, since this technology is kind of new, you know, for most of the world, like, are there any ways in order to guarantee the safety of the pilot?
Yeah. So we have the teams need to hand in a very detailed tech check protocol and a risk analysis document. And then we have the so-called head of disciplines. They are from universities, from our university and other universities in Switzerland. And they do the first review of this tech check document and the risk analysis. So where is the emergency button and things like that. And then we have two other reviewers, also from the field, and experts and PhD students or professors reviewing the tech check protocol, and then they are approved to attend the on-site tech check. So the pilot has to go over the whole parkour, and we have to check if the device is safe, if he or she can do the certain tasks. If they cannot solve the task safely, or if we have the feeling they cannot solve it safely, they are not allowed to do it.
Now that we're talking again about all the technology and all the preparation that needs to be done before the actual competition, what about these products or these technologies? Are they available on the market?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the discipline. So we have the wheelchair discipline. There are wheelchairs you can buy now. They are like motorized wheelchairs. They can go up and down the stairs. We have an ETH team, or an ETH former ETH student team that participated in 2016 and 2020. They have the Skevo. It's a very nice wheelchair. They have a company now. They are really successful, I think, in Europe so far. And then leg prosthesis, you have European companies like Otto Bock. They are having very good arm and leg prosthesis, or SUR. So they participated in the CYBATHLON competitions, and also benefit from pushing, or from the races and routes that they develop their devices further. Yeah. But you have like the brain-computer interface race. This is very, very in the beginning of yeah, it's very researchy, and you cannot use it, or it's not commercially available. But yeah, it will be maybe in 20
hopefully,
or 30 years.
let's say in the next CYBATHLON, or in the next 4 CYBATHLONs.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And I know, I mean, I'm pretty sure that it takes a lot of time. I mean, not only the research, but also the preparation, and also the organization that you guys have to do in the strategy team, the communications, the researchers, the tech people. So it's understandable. Have you had any personal experience or any personal feedback from these specific projects that you were like, wow, this is really, I don't know, this is really fulfilling?
Yeah. So it is very, very fulfilling, because what we are doing is still unique. So it's not comparable to anything you can experience. So, I mean, we've been working very closely with the teams, and meeting them, seeing them, and especially the pilots, how ambitious they are, how nervous they are, how competitive they are. It's very, very fulfilling for me to see this. And it's you have all those people that have a disability, and maybe they have not that much, or they have their life, and they have a lot of challenges to overcome. And it's all very positive in that CYBATHLON. It's a competition for them, and they can meet other people. They can meet people from other countries. They can exchange about their lives, and have a fancy prosthesis, and it's showing needs of people with disabilities in a good way, in a fascinating way, I think. And we always try to get this to people that are not familiar with all this kind of topics. And this is something that is very fulfilling, because it has a very positive movement for all people involved, I think.
And I mean, so it's like being a teacher. We were talking about it in the last episode. Sometimes when you're a teacher, you expect to only give in order to receive, So it's kind of like this. I mean, maybe you're in the communications department or in the research department, and you're like, maybe I'm not working 100% directly with the team, which you kind of are, like, let's say 90% or something like that. But you're like, wow, I mean, you received so much from each pilot, from each researcher, from each, I don't know, student from the university, that at the end of the day, it motivates your work in somehow, right?
Yeah, it's true, because I mean, in 2016, I saw all the teams. I was standing at the parkours and coordinating the teams and everything, and it was just we were also happy, and they were also thankful that this was such a success, and that they could participate and come to Zurich. And this is nice.
And how do you think we can create awareness?
Inclusion is often a word for inclusion of people with disabilities, but I think it's more about including all kinds of people. And you have a majority and a minority, and the minority wants to be included. So they are not really the problem for inclusion. Of course, you have to observe certain society rules, but so if we have to change our willingness to include people, and if the society doesn't know or is not aware, or doesn't see the positive effects or the benefits for themselves, it's very hard to get a single person to include any kind of people. So I think we have to tell people about the benefits of a diverse society, or of including different kind of people, and what the benefit is for them, and what the benefit is for the society as a whole, not only socially but financially, and other aspects of this topic. And I think as much as we talk about it and show the positiveness of it, I think hopefully someday it will happen and change. And you have to inform people and educate people and show people, and I think you can then create a change in mind. And you have to remove this anxiety. You have to remove the barriers, so that it's not bad. This person is not dangerous, or you don't make anything wrong talking to that person. So yeah,
I think we have to change the mentality, in today's world, but it's up to us. I mean, having these kind of interviews, like letting people know that these kind of projects exist, that there are a lot of people involved, that there are a lot of people interested in actually making the change. It's a part of it, it might be small at the beginning, but I mean, step by step, we can start making the change, right?
It will take time. It doesn't happen from one day to the other, but I think we are on a good way. And
we're getting there. And last but not least, Annie, I mean, do you have any advice for the students or researchers who are working in the field or want to take one step further into assistive technology?
Yeah, I mean, just start. No, what I think is listen to the people needing the technology. I think if you are a researcher and developer, and you are developing something for a human being, then listen to the people needing it and get feedback, involve them in your process. Try not to make the most fancy technology, but a usable technology, maybe low cost, so that people can afford it. And I think be innovative, have visions, be positive, and think of the people and
ways that it can be used, this technology.
Yeah,
I love it. I mean, the approach that CYBATHLON has in every single part, now that I'm hearing your experience, like face-to-face virtually, but face-to-face, I think it's really encouraging. I mean, most of all. So thank you, Annie, for being here. Thank you for being on the podcast, for being in Builder Nation. We have been really, really grateful to have you here. And I mean, it has been a great experience.
Thank you very much. And I hope to see you again sometime.
Me too. Do you have any social media handles where people can find you?
Yes, at CYBATHLON, and CYBATHLON.com. You can find anything there.
Okay, thank you so much, Annie. And remember, guys, that you can also find more information and more interesting articles, interesting interviews, just like this one with Annie, directly on our website, ControlHub/Builder-Nation. We would love to hear from you. And thank you, Annie, once again. We really loved having you here.
Thank you.